Hi guys, welcome back to LWR2. I hope you had a good Christmas and 2024 has started well for you. I didn't expect quite so many people to watch my last video on a subject so mundane as a vandalised railway crossing, but thank you so much if you did, and it generated quite a bit of discussion in the comments section. So I just thought I'd post a little follow-up and address some of the comments and answer some of the questions. You'll be pleased to know that the crossing was repaired very quickly by Network Rail and they've added wire mesh to protect the lights, which is great, and so far all seems to be working well. The temporary barriers are still half in place, but people seem to be walking around them and I can't see any reason why the crossing shouldn't be used now. The temporary road is still down and the fences are still laying about, but I think the project is basically complete. I mentioned that the crossing is on a curve, so the subject of visibility came up in the last video and how far away it's possible to see trains approaching from. So this footage should give you some idea of how much you can see. Sorry it's quite brief, but I was concentrating on crossing safely rather than filming. I wasn't going to stop and risk being featured in a Network Rail safety campaign. As you can see, on a day like this, visibility is pretty good. I think the speed limit here is 30 miles per hour, so even if you do spot a train, you've still got a fair amount of time to get across. I think in my previous video, I said something like, what happens if the lights stop working? Then Network Rail are opening themselves up to claims if something happens. Turns out if I'd have just read the signs properly, then they've got that covered. We just revert to the old method of stop, look and listen. Turning to the subject of money, I estimated the cost for this type of crossing would be in the low six figures. But a few knowledgeable people have told me that this would be closer to £500,000 to install, which just seems insanely expensive to me. However, for a bridge I thought around 1 million, but I've been told that could be closer to 5 million. Again, mind-blowingly expensive. Plus, quite a few people highlighted the associated issues with getting permission from council, landowners and local residents. A few people noted that the track was on a slightly raised embankment and suggested a tunnel might be a better option. But I think drainage could be the issue here. Right next to the crossing is basically a stream, and I think underpasses are also pretty expensive, so that's probably a no-go, unfortunately. The question of how much is it reasonable to spend on safety systems to reduce or prevent accidents came up, and can you put a price on someone's life? Some people in the comments, who I think are probably better people than me, suggested that you can't put a price on safety and any cost is justified if it saves just one person. But everyday governments and organisations do put a value on human life. Statistically, the chances of an accident occurring on this crossing, as it was before, were already pretty slim, but the risk was still clearly considered to be too high for Network Rail, and if they've got the money to spend on making it safer, then why not? How much safer is a subject for debate, but it definitely seems to make users feel more confident and reassured now it's in place. Given that HS2 is costing around £100 billion, £500,000 on this really is just a drop in the ocean. A couple of people mentioned something that never really crossed my mind, but would guarantee no accidents would ever take place here, and that's closing the crossing permanently. And that would obviously be a disaster because I need this to get to the pub, and that is something you really can't put a price on. So there we are, a brief update on the crossing. I really enjoyed reading your comments, so please do leave me some more. If you weren't aware, this is actually my second channel for more unusual and off-topic videos. Yes, as if my area of content on railways wasn't niche enough, I started a second channel even more niche than the first. But if you'd like to check out my main channel, then I'll put links around the place. Do please consider subscribing to both. Thanks for watching, and I will hopefully see you again soon.